So I've fallen into a bit of a weird YouTube rabbit hole recently of watching a few daily vlogs, and I thought it might be nice to try that approach for a devlog and actually put the vlog back into Devlog. So what we're going to do today is a day in the life of an indie game developer. Thing is, I'm not really a full-time indie game developer, I am a freelance writer, but when I do get days without work, I like to pretend that this is my full-time job and I am living the dream. So with that being the case, I thought it'd be nice to share what I got up to on a kind of average day doing this and pretending that it's what I actually do. Just to warn you, I'm going to be jumping around between cameras. I don't really have a proper camera, I have a phone. And so when I'm talking into that, the quality will be bad and the audio quality will probably be worse. So enjoy. The water here absolutely destroys things like coffee machines, so I have to do this calc thing way too often. Right now the coffee machine is screaming at me. You hear that? So just like probably 50% of the people on the planet, I start my day with loads of coffee. I'm not really a breakfast guy, and I never really have been. I looked up intermittent fasting once to see what that was about and then realised that I basically already do that. Anyway, I grabbed some coffee from my really dirty, horrible coffee machine and head into the garden office to get going. Look at the state of the weeds. I need to do something about that. Right, so you're going to do some game dev. The problem is that where I'm at in the game currently is right at the end, and so there's loads of spoilers, which means I can't show you any of that stuff. So what I'm going to do today, in the interest of making a video and doing this kind of vlog type thing, is go back to the start, look at my big spreadsheet, and think about some of the earlier stuff that I can go back and add in that's like kind of under the polish bracket. So on the docket for today, there's 2 rooms, right? We're going to do the basement and we're going to do the lobby. So the basement, we have got a few jobs to do. The first one is there's some dialogue that needs to change. There is an animation. I need to replace the backdrop, and we're going to try and make a splash screen. We're going to try and make a splash screen tutorial that tells the player how to play the game, basically, because obviously not everybody who plays this game might have played a point and click game before. Then in the lobby, we've got some item description stuff to do. There's a conversation with Amy that needs to change. There's a variable that needs to be deleted because I've play tested it and you don't need to have that, it doesn't really help. And then lastly, if we get to it, we'll do some fancier camera work. So that's the list for today. We'll see what we can get done. I'm also going to sort of just tell you what my day-to-day is like when I get to do this as a full day of work, and we'll go from there. So this dialogue is needed because in the opening cutscene, which doesn't yet exist but will, the player sees the NPC in this room on a radio talking to the boss of the company, and the boss will give a little Liquid Snake style he'll be through here, I know it type thing.
I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
That is because some of this game is kind of a weird homage to Metal Gear Solid, or that was kind of some of the inspiration for the game, if that makes sense. So anyway, I just need to dive into the existing conversation with this NPC, add another branch, and then just fill that out. I don't think that'll take very long. So yeah, that was pretty quick, not a bad start to the day. So I got another coffee, I wasted some time on YouTube, and then we need to talk about this NPC taking the sandwich animation. Because currently, if you give the guy the sandwich, kind of nothing happens. He says, here's the sandwich, and then no sandwich is actually exchanged. What I was going to do is animate a kind of giving, receiving type thing, which I have done in other scenes. But at this stage in the game, I'm going to be very lazy. And what I've decided instead is he's just going to like put the sandwich there and talk about it as if that's it. And I'm going to use literally the inventory icon for that sandwich. But I figure I will put that in the scene, add a remember component to it, so that it appears, and then once you've left the scene, I will say remove that sandwich, because then the guy will have eaten that sandwich. So I think that's a pretty quick and dirty way of doing that. So let's do exactly that, I guess. So the lazy solution here is just to make the player place that sandwich on the side there, which again is just a case of kind of adding the object, making it appear visible when the player does his little animation. We're working smarter, not harder here pretty much all the time, so that will do for me, I think. Slightly smaller. And then I also think I'll just move Tom's talking thing to be slightly further away from it, and actually move the sandwich over a little bit as well. Okay, that'll probably do for that. So this backdrop exchange, I did a video recently about how I had commissioned an artist just to sort of bump up the quality of my backdrops slightly. He did a great job of that, but there are pre-existing ones in the game that I haven't yet replaced. This basement is the first scene, and it's one that I haven't swapped out yet. So for this, I'm going to jump into Procreate on the iPad, import the new backdrop, and then I just need to apply the outline work that I had done on the original one. Flatten that and flatten the foreground version, export that, put it into Unity, compress it, and then just replace the existing ones. And there will, because some things have changed, there will be a bit of shunting around involved, but I managed to get that done pretty quickly, and I think it looks better than it did. So here's a quick comparison between what it was and what it is now. Somehow that has taken me to lunch. Now I am a massive creature of habit. I eat lunch pretty much religiously at 12 PM every single weekday, and I have the same thing every single weekday as well, which is Huel. It always blows my mind that Americans don't have electric kettles. I just don't know how you live. Now, I'm not sponsored by Huel. I'd love to be sponsored by Huel, but I'm not. I've just been eating or drinking their stuff for, since like 2017, and it's just a good way for a man in his mid to late 30s who isn't as thin as he wants to be to calorie control his lunch without too much effort. Because if I don't have this in the house, I will go and get a sandwich and some crisps and chocolate, and then it all spirals out of control. So yeah, Huel is a good simple thing. You just fill the kettle up, put the water in, leave it for 10 minutes, and then it's good to go. So what I tend to do, whether I'm working or not, is break for lunch at 12 and then sit with that Huel and fall down some more YouTube rabbit holes for like an hour. I do like to give myself an hour at lunch because I'm a special boy. So I figure this tutorial design thing is going to take a little while, so what I'm going to do is jump over to the next scene and just do a few of the other bits and bobs, because they will take a lot less time. Probably not this today. I think we'll forget camera work today, because I think that could be part of a larger block of work at another point. Got a green finger now. So actually fixing the stuff in this lobby scene is quite straightforward and quick. Fixing the dialogue didn't take very long at all. The variable I think I'd already actually done, but I tested it and it works. So that was relatively short, and then I just spent some time tidying up some other bits and bobs, including this little joke I've made at Ubisoft's expense. So then I just wanted to spend the rest of the afternoon doing this tutorial splash screen, just for the benefit of the people who don't know how to play point and click games. Obviously it's very simple, especially mine is going to be one touch interface, but just to help people out, just in case. So I've already got some UI assets for pause and load and the inventory and stuff, so I just want to follow the design language I've used there. And when I say follow the design language, I mean, you know, duplicate one of them and then just move some bits and bobs around. I've kind of settled on a few things to include, just about how to interact, how to use inventory items, and then just to draw attention to the fact that if you inspect an inventory item, you might learn more about it or kind of reveal a different state for that inventory item. So I just wanted to put that here just in case anybody got stumped on this opening scene. Alright, so this is what I've ended up with, which there's probably more I've forgotten that needs to be included, but I think this covers the basics here. So you've got click, tap on people and objects to interact, click or tap on inventory items to select them. Items can be combined or used on people and objects. Inspect an inventory item to learn more about it. So I think that's that covers the basics if you're new to the genre. Again, there's probably more, but we'll see. I think that's fine for now. So I fiddled with that for way longer than I should have done. But then the process of putting it into the game is quite simple. I just went into the Adventure Creator menu system, added a new menu with one button. It just needs to be a button that says, yep, cool, I've got that, and then have it pop in from the top. And then all I need to do is just go into my on start cutscene from the opening of the game, and then as soon as gameplay starts, wait a second or so, and then have it drop down and pause the game. So you've got enough time to read that, at your leisure, dismiss it, and then you're off to the races. So here's what that looks like now it's in place. Right, so I think that's probably enough. It's kind of the end of my day now, so I'm going to go for a run, and then I'm going to go straight from the run to the shop to get some stuff for dinner. My wife is away today and tomorrow, and ordinarily that would mean me getting some sort of massive pizza delivered, but I'm going to try not to do that today and eat something relatively healthy instead. So let's go do that, I suppose. I'm not sponsored, but I think I was interested. I run in zero barefoot shoes these days, which are basically nothing to them. If you have ever started running and worry about knee pain or get knee pain, I kind of recommend checking out barefoot shoes, because that's what fixed my knee pain forever. I really love these shoes. So I'm not much of a runner, I'm not a natural athlete, as you can probably see, and I run a bit like Phoebe from Friends, but I do enjoy running. One of the only exercises I've ever really taken to is a thing that I like, and I think it's a great way to separate the day from the evening. Like, my run puts a stop to my work, if that makes sense, and I try and do it a few times a week. Obviously I'm not in the best shape, but it helps, and I think at this age it's less about being in really good shape and more about kind of keeping the fat at bay a little bit. So I'm not going to film myself in the supermarket because I'm not a psychopath, and filming quite a lot of this stuff already has already been mortifying from a narcissism point of view, and I care too much about what people think of me to be whipping my phone out in the supermarket, so sorry about that. Right, I've done that now. It was quite a good run, as runs go. And, well, two things happened on a run. The first was that I think I stood in actual cow a little bit. And the second was I broke my hat. Trying to shake out sweat at the end of it, which is a shame. Because I really like this hat. Anyway, went to the shop. They completely run out of avocados in the shop, which is unusual and a bit annoying. So I appreciate this is now a weird like running and cooking video and is less about game development, but I think that's kind of the point because, you know, I find it interesting to see what people get up to in their day-to-day in this industry. Chickpeas, or what do you call it in America? Garbanzo beans, is that one? And some wine, which I'm not going to touch today, but I might have some tomorrow. And me as a kind of pretend indie full-time game developer guy who actually isn't, this is what a standard issue day looks like for me. Right, I've showered. I'm going to go back to the shop, or the other shop, which is about a mile away, listen to a podcast, buy some avocados, and live my best middle-class life, I suppose. I'll be back in a bit. Man alive. Oh. That's a spicy meatball. It doesn't look so it doesn't look exactly like the the Instagram ladies one, but it's food, so I'm going to eat it. Right, so that's kind of it for today. It's not been a massive day in terms of game dev, I suppose, but that's kind of the point. You know, when I find these days where I don't have freelance work to do and I can just do game dev stuff, it's not about going hell for leather as much as it is imagining that this was my life. And if I was a full-time game developer, I'd probably still take it quite easy, to be honest. Also, you know, just ticking off those little boxes on the big spreadsheet and making them green every time we do something small, we get a little bit closer to the end of the game, which is good. One thing I've learnt today is that vlogging is quite hard work. I have a lot more respect for daily vlogger people because yeah, it's a lot of effort, just like moving cameras around and remembering to film yourself doing stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. I will do it again if you really liked it, otherwise I might just go back to my normal stuff, but let me know in the comments either way. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe and like, I suppose. If not, I'm really sorry. Bye.